Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome into the Wolfman Rob YouTube channel. Appreciate you coming over here to hang out with me, man, or maybe you're listening to the audio. Appreciate you there as well. Today, we're going to be talking about the film Spider-Man: A Brand New Day. This is the latest film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, MCU, as some people like to call it, and the latest Spider-Man movie, the fourth one starring Tom Holland, and the one that's going to, come in after the way they left us in that last Spider-Man movie with so many questions, and then the trailers came out of this movie, and we had so many more questions added on top of those questions, man. So talking about that movie today on this episode, spoiler free, of course, as always, here on the YouTube channel, man. So before we get into that, I'd like to remind you, you matter, and let's go ahead and jump into talking about Spider-Man: Brand New Day. Throw up the poster for you while I go over the details here. The film is rated PG-13 for some language and sequences of action/violence. Film runs in at 2 hours and 25 minutes. Bit of a lengthy movie, and is classified as an action adventure fantasy movie. That's what you're getting with the Spider-Man this time around. So, like I mentioned there, spoiler free, but I will mention things that happened in the trailer, not actually how they played out in the movie itself, because again, those are spoilers, but what we see in the trailer and all that stuff we'll touch on here and everything. But like I mentioned, the story is picking up after the events of course, the last Spider-Man movie, No Way Home. And just real quick, before watching this movie, I watched all the other films starring all the Spider-Man movies starring Tom Holland, because he has shown up as the character in other Avengers movies and stuff like that. But the week leading up, the days leading up. Monday, I watched Homecoming. Tuesday, I watched Far From Home. And then Wednesday, I watched No Way Home before going to see Brand New Day. Keep messing up. Before in theaters on a Thursday night. Packed audience, like extremely packed. And you can probably seen the box office. It's doing massive numbers. It's almost at $1 billion already. And it's only been out for a couple of days, right? So as I released this episode and all that. So that was the main thing going into this movie, is how are they going to work on this? How is this all going to get, handled? How are they going to handle it? How are they going to make it make sense? Does anybody actually kind of know or anything like that? What's going on with Peter and MJ? Are they gonna, find a way back together? Peter and Ned. I know a lot of people talk about Peter and MJ, which that's the romantic thing, but I love their friendship. Watching those movies and seeing Peter and Ned's friendship throughout those movies and everything. Hopefully, will they be able to figure things out, because they got an awesome friendship going on there and all that. So those questions and all that stuff adding into the storyline on top of the main villain, if you will, in this movie, and the questions of what's going on with that. Because when you see the trailer, the villain has the ability to move around into other people's minds and all that stuff, and go all other places. So it's like this insane, a threat of a villain going on in this movie and everything, that he's having to do that. Also seen in the trailer, you see that he's going through something, right? Not just as Peter going through this emotional, struggle of, does he reconnect with his friends or not? Does he find a way? Because you remember the way the last Spider-Man movie he was going to do it, but he didn't, right? So it's like, is he still battling this in the movie and all that stuff? And is he, or will he, or won't he, and all that going throughout the movie here. With that, but now he has this big villain that he's got to try to figure out what's going on and figure out how to, get to that area and what he's going to do in this situation. On top of all that, his genes are now, doing something to him, to where, you saw in the trailer where his eyes would go black and all that stuff and everything. And again, not spoiling anything to let you know it's, the outcome or anything like that with all of this, but the just a mix of things that are going on in this movie would seem over the top or too much, trying to pile into one thing. Again, the movie is 2 hours and 25 minutes, or 26 minutes, somewhere around there. But I didn't bump into it ever being like a long movie. I said the same thing with the Odyssey that I reviewed. That review's out now if you want to check it out. But I didn't run in that movie is almost 3 hours long. I never ran into an issue where it felt long. And I could say the same thing about this movie. This movie never really felt long for me. Like, it always, everything they were putting together and trying to see how it all unfolds with everything that's going on between that storyline, and this storyline was, very captivating in the way they put it all together, and is very appealing to the senses of trying to see how everything works out and figuring out and putting together what's going on and everything, while trying to get to the ultimate goal throughout the movie. was very well done. I thought they did a good job here with the way they put the story together and how they made it all work out. Another very positive about this movie is the action sequences in this movie, because we've seen a lot of Spider-Man movies, be it the Tobey Maguire movies or the Andrew Garfield movies, or again before mentioned, we've had 3 Spider-Man movies with Tom Holland before this one, and he has shown up in the Avengers movies and all that. It was some of the best action scenes I've seen in this movie, and I think I've seen an interview with them talking about it, and you can tell, especially if you've played it, there's a lot of video game action in this movie, in the sense of the Spider-Man, was it Insomniac video game? Um, the way he does things in that game, the maneuvers that he's doing in that movie, and the way he fights, and the way he uses his webbing and all that stuff. You can see, similarities here in the movie, and it's so cool to see play out on the big screen and throughout they're going throughout the action scenes and all that. Like some of the best action scenes in the Spider-Man movies, bar none, and it just looks awesome and it's so cool and it's just entertaining, and just seeing the way everything flows throughout the movie and throughout the battles and the fight scenes is like it's really cool how that all worked out, man. Marvel characters that are in the film will not spoil anything that was not shown in the trailer. But first off, Punisher being in this movie, I've enjoyed John Bernthal's performance of the Punisher all the way back to the Netflix series, and then of course, has now come over to Disney Plus, and he's been in the Daredevil series, and he's had his own special, and now being in this movie, and them have to change it up a little bit. He's still his character, right? But obviously, he can't cuss and all that stuff because this movie, he's a lot more, a lot more gory and colorful wording, if you will, in the other Punisher stuff than you'll be getting in this, but still a good vibe. And just the overall, like we talk about the chemistry between Peter and Ned and their friendship and all that stuff. And this, of course, isn't a full on friendship with Punisher, but there's still a very good chemistry between those two, and the way they play off of each other in this movie, and the things they've gone through, and the way they're working together in the movie and all that stuff, and just their interactions. Fantastic stuff, man. That's where some of the comedic bits will come in this movie, is with Punisher, between Punisher and Peter, and it's really really good entertaining stuff. And John Bernthal is freaking awesome as the Punisher, and just the scenes and stuff he's evolved in this movie worked fantastically. The Hulk. I don't know why I stumbled so far on that. So we've seen in the trailer, so this is not spoilers by any means. We saw in the trailer that Mark Ruffalo was in the film and all that stuff, and we've also seen in the trailers that the Hulk comes out at some point in the film. I will not explain to you how that happens because that is spoilers, but when it does happen, fan freaking tastic, so good, so handled so well, so awesome why it's happening, and the fight sequences that goes on along, like seeing Spider-Man versus Hulk live action was so freaking cool, man. And just all that stuff that's going on around that battle scene and what's happening and all that, it just still works well. Like the ebb and flows of everything in this movie just feels so right and feels so good, and everything's around it just works so top tier. I think that's the last character I can talk about. And then as far as like the MJ and Ned of it all, they're still fantastic. Like they do a great job. Zendaya, and Jacob Batalon do great. They do a great job playing their characters, and see where those characters are at now, and how they focus into the way this story goes is good. And I think it was handled well. I think the amount of time spent with them is a good amount of time, and the way they, spend that time with them makes sense, and it works very well for the storyline they're telling in this movie and all that stuff, man. So that is good. All the way around. Like no real issues. Real quick credit scenes. There's only one at the very very end. Again, won't talk to you about it, what it is, but obviously they're setting up for something. That's what these credit scenes are meant for the most part. There are some that are like comedic bits, but for the most part, the credit scenes are always setting up for something, and this one is absolutely setting up for something. Um, but yeah, I didn't run into really too many issues with this movie. I like, a lot of what they're doing. It was a good, fun time, as well as being an emotional time. I teared up 3 times throughout the movie. Didn't full on cry, but there were moments that made me tear up during the movie, which you would expect, dealing in a situation that's going on in this movie, especially between Peter and MJ and what's happening here with those two. And again, I love Peter and Ned's chemistry, so stuff around there, and I just all around encompassing story works, man. The story is very well done. It's these Marvel movies I've seen, especially in like quite some time. It's very well done. I love the character of Spider-Man to begin with, and I like what Tom Holland's been doing with the character. Andrew will always be my Peter and Spider-Man altogether. I was about to say it's always gonna be my Peter Garfield. That doesn't make. kind of mixes stuff. It happens, but he will always be my Peter Parker and Spider-Man. That'll never change. But Tom Holland has done absolutely incredible and is really showcasing his abilities even more now with his fourth solo film as the main character of this movie. And performances across the board are really, really, really good in this movie from all areas, including. Can't believe I'm getting this late into it, but including Sadie Sink's character, who will not tell you who she is. But I knew how great of an actress Sadie Sink is because I'm a huge Stranger Things fan. And I knew how good she was and what she portrayed in that story. And so seeing her in this movie, and I'll be honest, the only other thing I've seen her in not Stranger Things was Fear Street, right? She was in one of those two, one. She was in the Fear Street movies that came out not too long ago, and I haven't seen The Whale. But I don't know why I haven't seen The Whale, but I haven't seen The Whale, which she's of course plays Brendan Fraser's daughter in that movie. But the the aspect of what she's doing and what she's portraying in this movie, and just her full on abilities that she's showcasing in this movie, fantastic. She's so freaking good at her job, man. Like she's so good at the craft, and what she puts on throughout this movie is just some of the best stuff, and some of the the emotional moments I've had involved her as well. So very complex character that she's playing, and the things that she's putting together in this movie works very well. I don't think I spoiled who she's playing. I don't think I spoiled anything that we haven't seen in a trailer by all means. But yeah, there you go. That is my spoiler-free review of Spider-Man: Brand New Day. It is Brand New Day, right? Let's pull that poster up. I don't know why I'm thinking. I think the Captain, yes, Brand New Day. The Captain America movie. What's that? Brave New World. This movie's definitely better than that one. Unnecessary shots of Captain America. I liked that movie, but unnecessary shots. But I will say, because I have to needle and put a little dig in here. The movie theater was packed. Right, it was packed. There's a lot of people in there. We heard some laughing and all that stuff. We heard some pop moment and all that, a little bit, not much, not like insane over the top moments or anything like that. But there was a moment, especially when it's revealed who Sadie Sink's playing and all that stuff. But the thing I'm going to say here is packed theater. The movie ends on a good note and all that stuff. So it's not like it ended on a somber note. And I say this because nobody clapped after the movie, which is something I've run into a couple times. Movies clapped after the Odyssey, most recently. Some people, and even more, and also more recently, here's my needling. You know it's coming. People clapped after Supergirl. They didn't clap after this one. So I had to throw that in there. I had to throw that in there. Do I like this movie more than Supergirl? Maybe. We'll have to talk about it. There's a bias with me. I'm not gonna lie. There is an absolute bias for those DC characters that just connect easier to me than the Marvel stuff. But again, I love Spider-Man. Love this movie. Fantastic film. I want to see it again. I'm gonna see if there's a chance I can get out to the theaters and see this movie again. But yeah, I just want to throw that in there because why not? It's fun. But I appreciate all of you watch this. Halloween Horror Nights. I have something coming. I believe I'm hooking up with the Death Curse Club to talk the latest announcements and stuff. We've got all 10 houses revealed. Ozzy Osbourne being the final house announced. We're going to talk about that and all kinds of other stuff coming up to talk about. But that is my channel update here, if you will. I don't really like calling these episodes. It's mostly just reviews. But that's my review for Spider-Man Brand New Day, spoiler-free. As always, like I said at the beginning, you matter. You're capable of great things. Just keep going forward, man. Believe in yourself, trust in yourself, and the things that need to work out will work out for you. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, week, month, year. And we'll be back with more movie reviews and Halloween or High Nights stuff to talk about at a later time. Thank you all, and hope you, again, have a great rest of the whatever day or week, month, year, all that stuff. Talk to you later, man. Thank you.